Good morning and welcome to Wednesday morning, the 15th of December. Today, we move on to a chapter entitled God or Mammon. It's based on Matthew 6:24, again, Sermon on the Mount. No one can serve two masters, says Jesus. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and Mammon, as most older translations have. Other newer ones say, or money. You cannot serve both God and money. This one is written by Eberhard Arnold, and he's actually long gone now, 1883 to 1935. He was a German publisher and founder of the Bruderhof community. It's communities of people who live in the same location together. They work together. They educate together. It's a religious and work community all at the same time. I know there's at least one here in the state of New York, and they're scattered around. They're actually the group that put this book out, and other books I've used for both Advent and Lent. Eberhard Arnold says this: nobody can serve two masters. You cannot serve God and Mammon. Jesus defined with utmost sharpness the nature of this Mammon spirit. He unmasked the piety of the wealthy classes, exposing their worship of the spirit of death. This Mammon spirit leads to war. It causes impurity to become business. Murder and lying become part of daily life because of this urge to possess. Jesus called Satan the murderer from the beginning, the leader of unclean spirits. Murder is the nature of Mammon. Wars are not the only sign of the Mammon spirit. We've become used to countless people being crushed to death because of our affluence, as if they were vermin to be squashed. Even the blind can see that the development of the Mammon spirit means the incessant murder of hundreds and thousands of people. Mammon and big business rule through the power of the lying spirit. It is impossible to wage war without a basic inner deception. In the same way, only by lying and by duping the public can a capitalistic society be maintained. This lie cannot be described, nor can we discuss it in detail here. It is up to each individual to examine the economic problems and to inquire into the murderous effects of the rule of Mammon. If we were really concerned with the problem, if we saw how much injustice prevails without the world's conscience being aroused to action, we would realize the true situation very quickly. If people recognized that capitalism involves injustice, it would mean total revolt against the greatest deception in the history of mankind. But we are a long way from revolting. Most pious circles and even working class people think, quote, rich and poor have to be. When a rich person can give work and livelihood to others, we have to be glad that such a one exists, unquote. This ignores the fact that it is impossible to amass this kind of fortune without cheating, without depriving and hurting others and destroying their lives. People fail to realize that big business, concentrated in a few hands, can push hundreds of thousands into certain ruin through unemployment. This is happening today. Why do these facts remain hidden from us? How is it possible to be cheated of justice and be blind to it? It is because we ourselves are also under the rule of this god, Mammon. Mammon is the rule of money over people. Because we ourselves are dominated by the money spirit, we lack the strength to rebel. Dependence on material affluence and financial security, that is Mammon. We recognize that money is the real enemy of God, but even so, we are not in a position to to apply the lever that lifts the slave rule of mammon off its hinges, because we are dependent on our income and our personal lives are broken by our own mammonism. Spirit or money, God or mammon. Spirit is the deepest relationship, the innermost fellowship of everything that is alive. God gives us the richest relationships of love between people, from spirit to spirit, heart to heart, that lead to a growing, organic, constructive fellowship. But there is a devilish means that seeks to rob all relationships of heart and spirit of God. This means is money. Money reduces human relationships to a materialistic association until the only value left is money itself. Satan uses property and money to destroy the highest goals. Eventually, money becomes a commodity in itself instead of a means of barter, and this results in money as power. Many relationships are founded solely on finances, and people give up heart-to-heart relationships and let money transactions take their place. In the end, money destroys all true fellowship. Money and love are mutually exclusive. Money is the opposite of love, just as sexual defilement of bodies is the opposite of love and respect. Just as the killing in war is the radical opposite of life and of love that helps others, just as lying is the opposite of love and truth. It would be impossible for capitalism to have such power to enslave and murder if the mammon spirit did not dominate. Where mammon rules, the possessive will is stronger than the will to community. The struggle to survive by mutual killing is stronger than the urge to love, stronger than the spirit of mutual help. Excuse me. Destructive powers are stronger than constructive powers. Matter is stronger than spirit. Things and circumstances are stronger than God. Self-assertion stronger than the spirit of love and solidarity that brings fellowship. The spirit of mammon has never motivated people to work in a creative way for the life of fellowship. Instead, it has engendered an enslavement of the soul and a scorn of it that has made us more subject to circumstances than religious people are to God. In truth, the spirit of mammon, the spirit of lying, impurity, and murder, is the spirit of weakness and death. Maybe we need to ask, if he was still around, ask Eberhard Arnold, how do you really feel? How do you really feel about the battle in the soul between love of God and love of the things of this world? How are we in that score? Who do we love more? Our house, our home, our possessions, the things we have access to, or God? It's a tough question. Answer it right, because where our treasure is, that's where our heart is also. Blessings to you today.